And we're live. Good morning, everybody. This is Martha D. Staub, owner of MDMC Entertainment.
And I'm Mark Schroeder, the head of the Albuquerque branch.
What is going on, Mark? How are you today?
Oh, I was running around all morning trying to get everything done before this.
Right, yeah.
I'm like, I need to get home.
We can always reschedule. It's fine.
No. That's why I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go do and get my stuff done. So
Right.
yeah.
So today is episode 4, and we're going to be talking about is going to school going to help you run and start a business? I think this is a topic that it's kind of perfect for. We'll get into why it's perfect at this point, but let's go ahead and share these our live stream to people.
Why it's perfect.
Oops. Let me get you the link for YouTube so you can share it to LinkedIn, Mark. I'm gonna send it over to you.
Yeah, I got it. I got it over on my.
LinkedIn doesn't allow us to stream yet. I've been hoping to, get that going, but it's just, I know LinkedIn's in beta right now and only specific people can do it at this point. So kind of sucks, but we're going to make do. Episode 4. We're going to share this around real quick. Give people some time to come in.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Post. Let me share the stream on from Facebook on my Facebook so I get people in here.
And then what I'll do is, because I've been this morning running around trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, just it's the glories of running a business and understanding going to pick up medications at different places and all that other good stuff.
Oh goodness! Sounds like you've had a day.
Oh no, that was yesterday.
Oh. Okay. Let me see. I put it onto my Facebook page as well. Okay. We should start getting some people in here shortly. Oh, all right. So let's get to it. So it's funny. We, at the beginning of the show that when we started this, we did talk about, we did meet in college, and you and I took very different roads in the profession. I know that at one point I was attempting to get into public relations, so I did major in it. And I tried, and I ended up in marketing. My first gig actually out of college was a journalism job as an editor. And then I took that path and it led me to, when I got to San Diego, to marketing. And now I'm a full-fledged marketing now. And a lot of people, it's kind of funny that you even put this. Mark is the producer of this show. I'm just going to say it flat out. He created all the list of the topics we're going to talk about. He went through and thought this all out thoroughly. And when he put this one on the list, it was right around the time I had seen an entrepreneur in my space talk about, I guess, this person put up questions on their story. And they said, do you need to go to college to be an entrepreneur? And this guy said no, which I completely disagree with. And Mark and I were talking about this yesterday. I don't think that's a smart idea to tell people not to go to college. I get it. I understand there's some BS that goes into colleges where you have to take like 15 amounts of credits of electives and stuff that you probably aren't even going to use. But the flat out say don't go to college, it's like, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think college, and it's funny, it kind of sparked a debate in this household with my partner in crime because he hasn't completed his degree yet, and his degree is in IT. And he had been looking around, and he had actually been talking to a couple of companies, but none of them were really going to hire him. And he's like, well, I don't think you really need to go to college to run a business. I said, really? I said, your degree's in IT. Have you gotten a job in IT? And he kind of looks at me. He's like, no. And I said, why is that? Because I don't have my degree. I said, there you go. The degree opens the key to the world. Unless you are a trust fund baby and you're sitting on a pile of cash and you can buy people to coach you through it, then by all means, you can go and start your business that way. But a lot of people are not in that situation. I strongly recommend you go to college and figure out what you're going to freaking do with your life. And if you want to be an entrepreneur, then you can go that route. I mean, there are business degrees, there are MBAs. I think you can, and there's scholarships. I think a lot of people don't really understand how many scholarships are out there that people don't apply for. There's money sitting there that no one is grabbing. So don't tell me you don't want to spend money on a loan or you don't want to go to college because it's expensive. Like, there are ways of doing it for free. I mean, I got my undergrad for free. You know how I got my for free? The lottery scholarship, I guess, is now defunct in the state of New Mexico. But
yes,
it took me from community college all the way to my last year. And then that last year I had to pull out a loan to finish it. So thank God, I think I only have $3,000 worth of debt left for my degree.
That's actually not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I when I went back, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and how I was going to pay for it. Obviously, my entrepreneurial skills preceded my return to college days at Eastern, and I'm like, okay. So I just started work. I mean, it's a working the system type of thing.
Right.
I mean, I went down there, did a campus tour. What else? And then I stumbled, and then ironically, God bless him, Dr. Schroeder, now retired, actually emailed one of the vice presidents of the university and said, "Get this kid a job." And and the joke was, everybody thought him and I were related.
Right, because their names sound so familiar. I thought that too for a while.
Yeah, but I'm like, they're like, you're not related to him? I'm like, no. I was like, does that make a difference? And they're like, no.
That guy was funny. I could never read the guy, you know?
He was a guy that you had to just take him for what he was.
I did.
He is basically, if you're easily offended, that's the last person you should take a class.
I mean, I liked him. I just thought he was a hard read for me. Like, I'm like, I don't know if this dude's gonna like.
Oh no, he liked me. I mean, I mean, he was very supportive, and then I think he finally said screw it and decided to retire. But hey, I don't blame him. He was a man of advanced age.
Yeah. But, he's still around, right? He's still alive, right?
Oh yeah, he's kicking around Portales.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, him and his wife occasionally travel, yada yada.
Wow.
And the thing is that he was an influence. So was our dear friend Patty Dobson.
Patty was my biggest influence.
The thing is that if I smarted off in her class, there were times where she'd look at me going like, "It's like I'm going to throw an eraser at you."
Oh my God, that what reminds me of this? I don't know why I was on this campaign. I think it was I can't remember what class it was in, but we were talking about like safe sex, and I remember I was handing out condoms to the class. And I went over to Patty. I was like, "Here you go." I cannot remember for the life of me what the hell we were doing, but it was like, and everyone was laughing because you know me, I can make an awkward situation funny, and
And sometimes even worse.
it was hilarious. Like, here you go, Dr. Dobson, or Mrs. Dobson at the time.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, she's taking notes. Like, I thought we were going to fail that. We passed, but that was funny. And I remember sitting in that classroom. I said, man, I wish I had Dr. Dobson for every single class. Like, she's just so good at what she does. And, it's funny because you find these teachers that just make an influence. I mean, like I said, I think I stated out all of my teachers throughout life, which ones made the most impact on me. And I think teachers are one of those people that get paid very, very little for the amount of work that they do.
They get paid. It's almost like they get paid less than journalists do.
Well, it's funny because my mom and dad, because they were like, you should just stay here and you can be a teacher. And I'm like, a starting teacher makes $30,000 in Roswell. I'm like, I think I can make way more somewhere else. And I think when I started my marketing career, it was a little bit up north of 30,000. So, I mean, I get it. I kind of started in the same area, but I was doing like things that were a lot more fun. And I just feel like teachers are special people that are called upon this earth to make a difference, and I'm just not that person. I'd probably make a kid cry.
Well, remember, I did spend some time as a substitute, because I realized that I did not want to go into teaching because it's such an underappreciated
Absolutely.
Profession.
I played around with the idea of being a professor at the college around here. I was like, I could probably go teach marketing to somebody. I thought about it at the college level. I'd probably do it.
Well, the thing is that I've interviewed for several of those types of jobs. A lot of them offered me, like based off of what I had, was like the jobs of, teaching like a public speaking class, teaching intro to something or other that I forget now. But I at the time I couldn't take it. I mean, I couldn't take the gig. But am I looking for something like that to supplement my fun and excitement now? Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is that do you have to go to college to run a business? Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
But the thing is that in business, people will take you more seriously if you've got first the theory, which is basically college,
right,
under your belt, and then some experience.
Right.
It helps. I mean, the thing is that yes, college is obscenely expensive, and we could sit there and do 2 or 3 episodes on just that alone. But A, I don't want to, and B, it just sounds better otherwise. I think that, I mean, when I started my business, I had just finished my degree. My background was solely in journalism.
Right.
And just writing. And obviously, in our field, you have to be able to evolve with the times. Obviously, a lot of people, I mean, YouTube wasn't as big of a thing in 2004 as it is now.
Right. Now everyone can learn anything on YouTube.
Yeah. That and everybody can become what I refer to as the citizen journalist.
Very true.
And obviously, with current events, if you look at current events, all the cell phone camera video, there you go.
Well, I have a little bit of an issue when it comes to like people that are on YouTube that qualify themselves as journalists. I know in the Comic-Con world.
I know where this one's going.
In the Comic-Con world, people are like, "Oh, I'm a journalist," and I said, "Really? What the fuck?" Like, sorry, damn it, Okay, I gotta stop cussing on this channel. But
One.
actually, two. I said damn it, so that's two.
Well, that doesn't count.
But yeah, these there. I was like, how many subscribers do you have? Oh, I have like 5, and I'm like, you're not an online journalist. They're not media, and like, I don't understand how there's a doofus that I follow that has been wanting to work with me, and I just don't want to. But this person really doesn't have that strong of a channel. There's a lot of subs there, but I kind of feel like freaking Ryan. What's up, Ryan?
It's junk subs is what
it's junky, and it's like it's not quality journalism. I feel like I think YouTube has given the platform for people thinking that they are professionals in their field, which kind of is like what we're doing, but we really are professionals. We actually worked out there, and you can look any of us up. You can probably find bylines of our stuff. I know you can find a whole plethora of the stuff I wrote for the Roswell Daily Record, or
you may have to dig for some of my stuff, but you'll find it.
I think the Roswell Daily Record did something where they wiped out everyone's name, so I don't think you can find it anymore. I have stuff that I saved, thank God, but I don't think it's searchable anymore. But I do have old stuff with bylines with my name.
Well, and that was the same thing with when I worked for papers in eastern New Mexico. They ended up merging 3 papers, 1 in Tucumcari, 1 in Clovis, 1 in Portales, and now they name themselves something different. And a gentleman who I respect very, very much so is now the publisher, and he's a guy that actually more than deserves to be in that publisher role,
right?
Because he is. I mean, the guy is nails. I mean, yeah, he could be a little out there at times, but the thing is when you get down to the brass tacks, he knows what the hell he's talking about.
Yeah.
And the thing is that's the biggest thing. If when you're running a business, you have to be able to know what on earth you're talking about.
Right. And this actually kind of brings me back to a very ugly time in my life. Mark, you'll remember. I did work for somebody who allegedly didn't go to college, didn't do the whole traditional thing, but is sitting as a quote unquote millionaire. And I'm sitting there like, how in the heck did that happen? There is no way you can go through, unless you are a trust fund baby or you are funded by somebody to run a business. I don't necessarily believe that. Like, I sat there and I was like, this can't be right. There's something funky in the water, because I necessarily don't believe that someone with no money and no college or no education of any sorts can go into business and tell people how to run a business when you don't have experience in doing so. Like, I feel like, the education part is a huge, huge part of it. And, at least you need to have some of that. Instead of social proof, you really need that actual proof that you did study what you did study, that you do have a knowledge in it, that you are passionate about it. You can't just go around and tell people you did it and then, like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of holes in that story. I was just like,
The way I see it is I've got transcripts to prove it.
Yeah. I mean, I think having a solid education and I'm telling you, it's not like you're going to learn everything.
No, you're not.
You're not going to walk out of college and be like, boom, business owner. That's not. You eventually need to lead up to it, have a couple jobs, and then go down that path of entrepreneurship. And the great thing about it is that if you keep up with your industry, as I do, there's a lot of newsletters I subscribe to in the marketing field that keeps me up to date to the changes in software, platforms, the whole bit. You have to be on top of your game to be able to serve the people that you're serving. And so I definitely subscribe to a lot of those. Like every morning I wake up to like 30 messages and they're all from different subscriptions. And I sit there and read through it. And, and then sometimes they offer webinars. And I think when you are in a position of being in a field that you really need to keep up with it and take a webinar here and there. I think, we just signed up for Skillshare yesterday because I just finished
They should sponsor us.
They should sponsor us. I should reach out to them and be like, hey, we're actually talking about your stuff because we're going through it. But about a year ago, I signed up to do a web development class. So I really wanted to learn coding and how all that works because as a marketer, I do make websites from WordPress or, something that's a template that's easy. I'm not sitting there and working on code, but I was like, I always want to know how to do that. So I enrolled in this class and I just finished it yesterday. And Mark keeps bringing me stuff. I'm like, do not bug me until after the 17th. I don't want to deal with it. But I finally finished it. And I'm so excited. So happy. It's funny because the company that it was made out of was like, hey, I saw that you're not finished yet. Do you want an extension? You may have to have a fee. And I'm like, I got my completion letter yesterday. Go figure it out with your coworkers. I don't understand that. But, I was like, all right, now we finished this. You still got to keep those skills sharp. So I signed up for Skillshare because there's some other things in the marketing field I would like to get better at. And I saw a couple of things from Mark and some things from my partner in crime. And I'm like, you know what? Let's start making lists and we're going to start taking these classes just so that we can keep sharp on our skills. The learning process never stops. I want everyone to make that clear. Learning doesn't stop.
That's true. I mean, and the thing is that even working in, let's say, just straight public relations, if you're watching the news one day and you're kind of going like, oh my God, the optics of that is horrible.
Right.
And I can't tell you how many times a day I do that. Like you listen to people who just talk out of the sides of their mouth. You can pretty much guess which one I'm thinking of. And you look at it, I mean, there's just so many things associated with that. I mean, that's a talent that I picked up while I was in school and also being in the field.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you didn't know, you wouldn't be able to understand whether or not that is this person telling the truth or is this person, being genuine?
Right.
It's kind of like, if we said, I hate to make the comparison, but it's kind of like, for example, if Hitler were to have said something uniting to the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
We all know from history that no,
that didn't happen. Yeah,
that didn't happen. And obviously you wouldn't believe it. And the thing is that if you do what you do to make it happen, you actually can decide whether or not you're, making it or not. I mean, the thing is that we could spin this off into something else too, is that not just education, but networking.
Yeah.
That's like the second biggest thing. Basically, you don't have to sell to people. The goal is to sell through.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's the like me, trust me, and do business with me. Thing is if they like you as a person, that's great. If they trust you, they realize, oh, you have a background in it. You went to school for it.
Yeah.
Then they will do business with you.
Oh my God, which reminds me of a story. So there was a person a while back that, when I started working in these fandoms and working in entertainment and things like that, a lot of people discredited me and they said, you don't even know what you're doing. And I said, first of all, I have a background in marketing. So, yeah, I probably have not done it in entertainment, but this should be a no-brainer. And when people started to work with me and started to see that I was retaining people and people were being loyal to me, there were copycats that were jumping up and being like, I know because I actually have the receipts that people were like, oh, I'm going to be better than Martha. Watch. I'm going to have more people than her and all this shit. And I just laughed. I was like, oh my God, that's not what this is about. And I remember having a conversation with someone who was was very much hated in a specific fandom. It's kind of funny because their event just went belly up. It was really funny. Um, but I had a conversation with this person 3 years ago. And I said, look, dude, it isn't about you becoming famous. It's about you servicing your client. And the problem is that you're doing this for fame. I'm doing this for credibility. There's a difference why we're doing what we're doing. And at the end of the day, I have experience in marketing. I have experience. I've gone to school for it. I have experience in public relations. Like I was stacking up all of my reasons why I should be doing what I'm doing and why I'm so successful at it. That person, after our conversation, went to his Facebook page. He was going to a community college for travel and tourism. He changed his degree to marketing and public relations. And I'm like, you missed the entire point of that conversation. Because yes, you may not have the experience in it, but you're trying to look like you do. Doesn't work. Because at the end of the day, your work is the end result. And if your end result is really bad, no one's going to work with you. And which is pretty much what happened. It's kind of funny.
Right.
But
I mean, and that's the biggest thing is that you look at, there's the fakers and then there's the doers. You my friend are a doer.
mm-hmm.
This is why I wanted to combine forces with you, because by golly, there are things you've said to me and I'm going to say it again so we can get it recorded, and you were right.
I'm surprised you haven't run screaming away from me yet. I mean, like, I feel like every time, I don't know. I just feel like there's so much more to you, Mark. And I feel like you could be so much better. And I feel like that's what, kind of like with the Skillshare thing yesterday. I'm like, here, take this class. and
I've done 2 so far.
Good for you. I'm really excited. I even put a deadline and everything. I said he should be able to do this in 3 weeks. 2 days is, a day is like crazy, but I feel like there are people in this world that want to see people fail, and there are people in this world that want to see other people succeed. I feel like I want to see you succeed because I've known you for so long. You're getting into this world. You're very much in the public relations sphere of things, and I'm trying to drive you into the digital marketing aspect of things. We've had this conversation off camera, but where I've seen how PR people work versus marketers, and they're two different breeds of people. And I'm trying to convert you to the dark side. To the good side.
Bring me to the dark side.
Yeah. I kind of feel like the marketing side has more money to it, though.
Slightly more, I would say. And the reason is that marketing is built more on ROI. And the thing is that's another thing that a lot of people miss, is that a lot of clients are going to look at it and go, you need to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see this by the time we're done.
Right.
The thing is that their goal is achievable, but the thing is their timeline's generally not.
That is exactly what happened in my last job.
And that they say, well, we want to see progress in 90 days. It's not necessary. It doesn't necessarily work like that. I mean, I give you a perfect example. A travel agency I work with, they, a lot of what I do is organic with them.
Right.
And obviously with the travel industry the way it is right now, I have to do everything organically with them
Right.
because they don't have a budget to pour into digital marketing right now. You know, they have enough in their budget to pay me.
Right. And that's kind of how I'm feeling with one of our clients as well, is we're doing a lot of organic and not enough promotion.
Mhm.
And you know,
It has to be. It
you have
there.
to have both.
There's a mix of it. I
Mhm.
mean, the thing is that utilizing Facebook ads, Instagram ads, whatever, um, and organic, that and bringing them together
Right.
is what really the will drive the likes, will drive the engagement, and will overall drive the following.
Right. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand that. And I think, it depends. If someone wants results in 90 days,
It
yeah,
has
it's doable, but do you have the budget to make it happen?
it,
There's only so much organic can do.
that's true, and also you have a product
Mhm.
that's going to make a big enough splash in 90 days to do it.
Well, I mean, like, I had a boss with unrealistic expectations. We would send out an email marketing campaign. 30 minutes later, they would come back and say, "This bombed." And I said, "It's only been 30 minutes." "No, it completely bombed. Let's figure out how to fix it." And I'm like, "It's been 30 minutes."
But the thing is that there's also something to it. You got to give it a few days to
That's
really,
what I said.
you know,
That was always my argument with this person.
right. You got to give it a few days in order to actually make to see any sort of result.
Hmm.
You know, and then obviously it allows you to in email marketing. It allows you to hone in on who those people who are actually opening that email and engaging that email. You know, and then once you hone in on those, it kind of basically it's a funnel. And
Right.
the thing is that those who open it go through that funnel,
Right.
and then there's another funnel, and then those who act on it, and it just kind of goes on and on and on, and then
Right.
eventually
Action.
you get down to the bottom, and let's say you send the email out to 500 people, and when you're done, 50 of those people are still with you.
Yeah.
Those are 50 people that you need to continuously market.
Hmm.
It's just, I mean, don't barrage them with like, you don't barrage them, hit them with like daily emails. You do, um,
Oh my God.
you do enough to just make it happen. It's like where they understand, okay, you do exist, and by golly, it does work. I mean, I'll give you a perfect test example. Um, you know, I did, I did an email blast recently. I did. You saw my social media posts.
Mhm.
You know, I redid my collectible store online. I shed about half my inventory.
Mhm.
I'm happy I did because lo and behold, what am I get? What did I end up getting over the next few days? Larger per dollar ticket sales.
Right.
And the thing is that these are the types of things, and it really doesn't matter what the product is. And the thing is you have to know your product. Be it service, be it an actual physical, tangible item. And the thing is that which then roots back to the educational aspect. I mean, can you sit there and tell me what this iPhone has and what it can do for you?
Mhm.
You know, and that's I mean, there are some people who have an iPhone just to have one.
Right.
I mean, I've used this exact iPhone to do live streams for places like CNN and
Mhm.
a few other online networks. And the thing is this is a workhorse. this is a workhorse that I'm going to have to probably retire in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Because my battery and my phone decide to like overheat. Hopefully, cross my fingers, I can go up on in the iPhone Revolution scale.
Right. Which phone do you have there?
I have a 6S right now.
A 6S. Yeah, I had a 5. Like I think last September I had a 5, and I moved up to a 10. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is that I'm just going to do an insurance claim.
Yeah.
Get myself into a newer phone, because it's valid, and I figure why not. But the thing is that it's utilizing the tools and understanding the proper use of said tools. I mean, you could be using this thing for cold calling,
Yeah.
But the thing is that who does it nowadays? I mean,
Oh gosh, yeah.
email marketing is really where it's at. And the thing is that people will. I mean, if they like your product enough, or if they've done business with you before, market them.
Hell yeah. It's easier to upsell a current client than to get a new client and get a new lead altogether.
Well, and that's my biggest thing is that I don't necessarily upsell them. I will just.
No, I don't either.
I won't necessarily upsell them. Basically, what I'll do is I'll say, "Hey, I'm still here, but I've added some stuff. Go take a look.
Yeah.
We'll talk deal." And that way, once they do that, that's the no pressure sales about it. And the thing is that if we do the market the way we do it, we can actually make, and that could be the services we offer. It could be the collectibles company I own. It could be really whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is that a big thing that a lot of people are getting into is reselling.
Yeah.
But the problem is that there are people that are just getting into it because they see everybody else making money.
Right.
They figure
entrepreneur for the heck of it.
There you go. And the thing is it goes back to education. It's like, well, how do I do this? How do I do this? We could sit there and design courses on people on how to actually do it and be reasonably successful at it.
So here's my next question, Mark, and I don't know, just because of my history, would you recommend anyone hiring a business coach? I know the answer.
I have mixed feelings on that.
I have mixed feelings too. Actually, there is someone I was listening to. This girl was very reasonable, though. She's still very smart. I still listen to her podcast. I'll throw out her name. Her name's Jenna Kutcher. Anyone can look up the Gold Digger podcast. She does really great work. And you know what? She really motivated me to really get my stuff into gear. And she did offer courses that were reasonable prices, like $200 to do, this or that, and, she started out as a photographer. She quit her corporate job at Target and went off and did her own thing. And she's much happier, and, she's got that whole deal down. But there are some business coaches out there that will charge you several $1,000s to do a course. And I'm just like, okay, what kind of reputable history do you have? And a lot of people don't have a reputable history. A lot of it's kind of funny because I do network in a lot of the entrepreneurial groups, and a lot of them are coaches. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, what qualifies you to tell people what to do, though? Like, if I'm going to pick a coach, I'm going to pick someone who was really successful, like somewhere like notable, maybe a little more reputable. I wouldn't pick someone out of the internet and be like, okay, you help me build my business.
Well, here's a stronger recommendation that I feel more comfortable with.
Okay.
And, there is an organization called SCORE. It's basically it's a bunch of retired, um, executives, this, that, and the other thing, and um, they actually will, mentor you, and basically, and they'll take you pretty much through most of the process. Basically, they're going to tell you how to do it, but they're not going to. They'll basically lead you to the water, but you got to drink.
Right.
And I feel more comfortable. I mean, I still have a SCORE mentor myself. It's score.org. Well, actually, let me check that real quick.
Yeah. No, I just don't want people to get screwed over, because I've seen where, there are some people out there, don't get me wrong, there are some people out there that are really reputable and have changed people's, well, I don't know if they really have, honestly, because a lot of things, this is the internet, things can get faked, okay?
Right.
Don't fall for everything.
I would sit there and I would try to show you my screen, but it's score.org, and you can actually find a mentor anywhere in the country.
Yeah.
Albuquerque has its own, and basically, if you just sit there and just talk to them about it, and but the thing is, you got to have an idea what the hell you're doing.
Right.
I mean, you can't sit there and be like, well, I'm. This is my idea. This is because this is what I do. My idea, my concept, and here's how I want to make it a reality.
Right.
And looked at me and went, not a bad idea. However, and he projected this last year, or yeah, it was last year, when I was talking to him. He said, but you have to be careful, because there's going to be a recession of some sort in 2020.
Yeah.
That's predicting.
Mm-hmm. And look what happened.
But that's not the recession he was guessing.
What recession was he guessing?
He was just guessing a regular old recession.
That guy's like an oracle then. Keep that guy around.
And he said, well, what would you do, let's say, if we got into a recession? Because obviously people aren't going to have, the disposable income to do it. And I said, my goal by then is to scale back the product side of the business to deal with, and basically more teach what I do there.
Mm-hmm.
So that way I'm offering a service versus offering a product. Right. And I'm only using the platforms I use as a beta test.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me money, great. And then that way I can sit there and document it and turn it around and turn it into an ebook, turn it into a course.
Right.
Personally, my personal favorites would be turning it into an ebook. I mean, and finding, I mean, there are many different avenues I have got right now that I could sit there and sell, digital product on.
Right.
I need to dig up all my digital product.
Yeah, I mean, I recommend anyone who is going to continue learning, if you do want to get into entrepreneur space, just go through reputable sources. A lot of people on Facebook and Instagram don't know what the hell they're talking about, and they claim that they know who they are, and they do these types of things. Don't fall for it. These people have figured out if you charge people, a couple grand, they'll become 6-figure earners themselves, or, stuff like that. And the truth is that, go through Skillshare, go through, some of the reputable agencies in your field, like, that you get your news from. They usually have really great resources as to point in direction if you want to extend your learning. Just do it. Just don't fall for a scam, and don't throw your money away, because you will throw your money away. And then it'll be a hard time contesting that I've seen people go through it and they can't get their money back.
Well, and the one thing that that I've learned is basically, if you're gonna do it, go back and do a refresher course like a community college,
Yeah.
and that'll help you build up the contacts for one thing, and two, at a lot of community colleges they have small business development centers, yeah, and they can sit there. I mean, one I never like when I started my collectibles business, I never built a traditional business plan. I used a one-page, thinned down plan.
Right.
It was the best thing in the world.
I remember when I wrote out a business plan and I actually gave it to an investor, hoping he'd invest in my company, but it was like several pages long. I don't know.
Right,
We have very different businesses, though. Yours was very simple, though.
right, and that's part of the reason I started it is because I've got enough experience, the education. I might as well use it,
Right.
you know. And the thing is that um, you know, I, I've I've done enough research on, it's like, how do you start a business? You know, what should you do in New Mexico, for example? I mean, do I know California law? No, but I think you probably are starting to learn California law, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. I have a lot of things I gotta. For my business, yes. I, oh gosh, when I started this whole thing, I knew nothing about it. And the only reason I didn't know anything about it was because, I mean, I had an idea of where I was headed, but it wasn't until I got a client of mine that a friend of mine gave me. He was like, all right, this is where you need to go take care of your stuff. And so I paid some guy to take care of it for me. I was like, you deal with it. And then I get all these emails back about, oh, you need this, this, and this. I'm like, what is this? And then he's like, you need to start figuring out your business. I was like, damn, okay. So I got to go through and read. I have time now, finish my class. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's always going to be a learning process. I don't think anyone going into business is going to have the answers right away.
Mm.
I've talked to other people that own businesses. A friend of mine, and she's the daughter of my well-known mentor. She's also given me a couple clients as well. She's like, yeah, owning a business. She actually was successful. She started her business back in 2015, and she ended up selling it to a company 6 years later that now she's the head of sales for, and now I'm their marketing person. So and she's like, yeah, if you need help with your business, let me know, I'll help you. I'm like, what? You're younger than me. How did you already make a business and sell it to somebody? Like, that is insane. But just definitely collaborate with people that have done this, and just really, this is where the networking thing comes in. Network in your local community. Find business owners that have done this, that are willing to talk to you, and utilize those things. Do not go to the internet to do it.
I mean, and the thing is that you have to be able to just do it. I mean, don't you want to think everything through?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I started my original business back in '08, um, honestly, this is my response. What the hell? What do I have to lose?
Right, right. I think for me, it was like, I really have nothing to lose. I'm already lost. At that point, I was like, I've lost everything. There is nothing else that could go wrong from here.
And that's kind of why I did what I did is that I started it and built it, and I can't tell you how many times I spun that company off.
Yeah.
And more, that company morphed more than the coronavirus is doing right now.
Right.
I mean, just to give you an idea. And now I'm more leaning in the collectibles market and the reselling
Mm-hmm.
market
Mm-hmm.
because it's fun for me.
Yeah.
And the thing is that, you know, obviously being associated with you, helping MDMC, um, you know, helps me keep my skills wet.
It's funny, my mom, I don't think my mom really knows what I do. But we were talking and, she was like, "Are you at home today?" I was like, "I'm home every day. What are you talking about?" "I thought you were an employee for, one of my clients." I said, "No, Mom, I'm not an employee. I own my own business." And she's like, "No, I thought MDMC was for the, for the actors and stuff." I was like, "Oh my God, Mom." I said, "How many times have we had this conversation?" I'm like, I have a, it's a business now. Like, it's entertainment and then I do the marketing stuff. And she's like, "Oh." And it's funny because it's just, I don't know. I don't know how much more I can make clear to people.
Well, and the thing is that I had the same thing with my mother.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "How are you making money?" And then one day she's seeing me moving like armfuls of packages out onto a table, and she's like, "See?" And she's just like, "Okay." And it's the same thing with my wife. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, does this thing make money? Yeah. And I mean, and I'm honest. I show her the numbers. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, and even if you run the business yourself, if you have a partner, uh, married, not, you know what I mean, um, or a significant other, you have to be able to be honest with them
Yeah.
and be able to tell them, hey, this is this is what it is. This is, I mean, when the coronavirus hit, a lot of my income got hit,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I had to sit there and say, listen, I can't do much.
Mm-hmm.
My goal right now is keep a bit, you keep a business alive. I
Yeah.
mean, luckily, I was able to um, get one of those PPP loans, and I can't tell you how much paperwork I had to submit for that.
Yeah.
But the
Luckily for me, I haven't had to do that. Everything is steady. Um, it's just Corona really knocked everything off the access. And, there were so many things like, I had to go through the MDMC calendar and take off all these shows we were supposed to be at. And I'm just like, wow, 2020 was going to be an amazing year. We were going to be everywhere. And, I had already had set up, um, I was going to make a couple trips to New York to be at some of the shows to start, showing MDMC off over there. And, I had, we were going to go to Albuquerque, do a couple things there. We were gearing up for Paramorphicon for September, to do a really epic reveal, which now we have to push that back to next June. On this day, we are officially 365 days away from Paramorphicon. It will be June 18th, 2021. So, but it sucks. I think Corona, as much as I appreciate the downtime, I really do. I'm like, okay, maybe we just needed a break, save some money, think, educate ourselves, get our
right.
education,
I mean, yeah.
time to do this. We've never had time to do this.
Well, the other part of it is that yes, many people have lost their lives, and obviously that's the sad part about all this. But for the rest of us who are still here, this is a wake up call.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, reassess, re-educate, um, and just understand where you want to take your business in the next 6 months.
Yeah.
Obviously, um, a lot of things are going to be much more expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, ironically, I was investing more starting in January. I started to invest more into um, online platforms,
Right.
so that way I didn't have to. I just wanted to save in more money.
Right.
Less fees for outsourcing. Large pallets of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Corona changed all.
Right.
I mean, I was already planning it, which was good. So I was already in process of being set up for it.
Mm-hmm.
And since I was set up for it, I was able to, do it successfully.
Right.
And the thing is that being a digital marketing firm, obviously we can be very nimble. And we don't have the office overhead,
Right.
but will we have an office here in the Albuquerque metro? Yeah. Will we have one in San Diego?
Maybe.
Maybe. Um, there's probably going to be a likelihood that we'll have one here. There may be one in Roswell. There may be a branch in San Diego. Just really depends on where.
Yeah, I think once, and it's funny because, we talk about partners and things like that. My partner in crime is like, he's very dedicated into, we talk about the business a lot and where we want to see it and where we want to go with it. And, he's
That's
made it to a point
not
where he's like, huh?
that's not a bad thing.
No, it's not. And he's like, I really want to I got to learn this and I got to learn this. And I said, all right, here you go. Here's some Skillshare. Go learn it. And, I think it's important to really focus on what you want and really go for it. I've been very fortunate that, I mean, this is my life every day. Like, I know everyone was
Right.
like freaking out, like Corona, like, okay, we got to work from home and stuff. I'm like, this does not affect me in any way. I've been doing this since June. I've been very fortunate to have that in my life. And, most people aren't that lucky. So,
No, I mean, and the thing is that the economy itself is going to change. We're going to see a lot more automation.
mhm. And
Uh,
people don't know how to automate things. Let's put it that way. We do.
yeah, I mean, and we could easily automate anything from you know email marketing to regular old social media, and
Hmm.
for the softwares that we use. I mean, we make sure that we're able to sit there and you know I like the fact that we can sit there, look at the client, and be like, listen, this is what you need. This is how much it's going to cost.
Hmm.
This is why it's going to cost what it's going to cost.
Right. And it's funny because I really do sell myself short on the prices because I'm fairly cheap. I know that some people may not think it, but I am fairly cheap on some of the services I do offer, and I actually am charging way less for stuff that costs way more. And that's something that's going to change here in the 2020 sphere. Is like, we do want clients, but at the same time you have to realize how much work goes into it. And you're paying for a service where literally your hands are off the steering wheel, someone else is driving. And a lot of the things that we do, our skill set between website design, integrations, email automation. Right now, I'm in a sea of funnels right now for another client of mine where we're trying to get, email marketing up and running. And when you have a plethora of emails, I was talking to a guy, I'm trying to close the deal with a guy right now. And I said, what are you doing with your emails? And he's like, nothing. And I said, why not? He's like, I don't know what to do with them. I was like, no, give me that. That's money. And so it's just funny. But I think in this new world, in this new digital world, a lot of people need to figure out how to maneuver in it, how to work in it, and how to change their businesses to function in it. And a lot of people are lost in how to do that.
Right, and that's one of our goals is that we don't just do it just from the service aspect. We actually sit there and we'll educate the client in order to make
Right.
them understand that, hey, listen, this is what needs to happen. This is how it needs to happen. If you need this, X, Y, or Z, then obviously that's what you got to do.
Right.
That a lot of people aren't necessarily, thinking about that.
Right.
That and the thing is that the business itself um, is it's definitely, businesses can't run themselves, can't completely run themselves. I mean, the idea of the 4-hour work week from Tim Ferriss is all well and good, but the thing is that you have to work really hard to get the 4-hour work week.
I'm a 15-hour a day person. I can't even think of that. Not even 15 hours. Well, maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe like 8. It feels like 15. I spread them out throughout the day, though, so that's why.
And that's kind of a lot of what I do is that, I'll sit there and I'll move on. I mean, I've got a list of stuff in this little book here that I have to sit there and do.
I got Base Camp alerts right now.
I mean, I give you an example. There's still there's 3 of those items on that list.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, 4 of them are related to NVMC.
Perfect.
in one way or another. I mean, it's just a matter of getting everything. I mean, my goal right now is to basically do a lot of data looking, and then hopefully,
we're mining data right now.
And we have, but the thing is that that's another thing we can teach the clients is that basically this is how you do it. However, it's very time consuming. It's very tedious.
Yes and no. There is a digital way of data mining that I'm doing for another client right now. I don't have the recipe just yet. I have to give it to you at some point, but
you should. Because I know exactly what you mean. I mean, I know that. I mean, if you're dealing with backwards, places that are 20 years behind the times, it's like you have to pick up the phone and be like, hey, I need this. Well, it's going to take a while with COVID going on. I'm like, dude, it's 90 days of info.
Right. And then, like I said,
it's like, make it more, and I complained to one of them. I said, make it more readily available.
Right. And a lot of people don't know how to do that. So it's like lost in the sauce over there.
And this is a city that I was talking to.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, just everyone go out there, get educated by reputable sources. Go to college, get your degree, get a certificate, get it reputable.
Get some sort of education.
Right. Before you jump into this, because then you'll be
a reputable source. Because then you're helping yourself in the long run.
And your future clients, because then they know that they can trust you. It's a give and take.
Oh, the trust.
Yeah. Real quick, I do want to say happy birthday to our East Coast rep, Eddie. He I talked to my boys. We do have an East Coast rep, MDMC is also on the East Coast in New York City. Unfortunately, because they are in New York City, they're not even into some of the phases of releasing certain, like some stores are not open yet and things like that. So right now they look like cavemen. My 2 Latin dudes look like cavemen right now. So when they get fresh and they're shaved and, the whole bit, they will join us on the show. I told them, I said, I really want you guys on. And they said, well, we look ugly right now. Wait till we get all poppy chulos. So I was like, all right. So we'll have them.
I haven't heard that in so long.
Chulo. Yeah, I know. We were last night, Eddie, 9:00 our time was midnight their time. So we all got on a Facebook call and a messenger call, and we were just sitting there talking. And I was like, yeah, I really want you guys to, get on the show. And they're like, oh, later. So whenever everything starts opening up in New York City and they look better, they'll jump on. But really excited to have them.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that there's not just us running this operation. There's, your partner in crime who is not necessarily around during the day, and then there's our boys in the East.
Yeah, they're really killing it. I know they really helped us out a ton. We did a show in Brooklyn, and thank God they came through. I was going with
One of the clients.
one client and two other talents that I wanted that we're really close to. They're not necessarily, one of them does work closely with me, the other doesn't. But there was a total of three, and I said, all right, guys, I need help with three of these guys. And so they were super great. They rented a car for the weekend. They drove us around from hotel to the site. If the con wasn't doing it, they were willing to pick up the slack. Some were sitting behind the table. Some were dealing with weird fans. We did have a few of those. But
We'll talk about how we deal with that in another show.
Yeah, we will. But yeah, they really pulled out all the stops to help. I know Lewis on the Saturday couldn't be there at the show, but I had Eddie there. And so Eddie was making sure, they've all worked behind the table before. They know what goes down. And so Eddie was there the entire weekend. Lewis came in and filled in on Sunday. So we were all there just, and we made a quick escape at the end of the show. And we dropped off one of the guys at the hotel, and we took another to drive around the city. So they speak highly of us to other people. We do have potential projects coming up in New York. Well, at least we did until COVID. So we do have a presence there, and people know about us there. New York is like, I feel like it's home every time I go back. It just feels right. So, but yeah, happy birthday to Eddie. I hope he has a great day. I know him and Lewis have not seen each other in 3 months, so I probably won't hear from them at all today. That's how close they are.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. Well, that wraps it up for us. Thank you guys so much. If you liked the content, please like, share, subscribe, comment, send us your questions, all that good stuff.
Yeah, we'll even answer the question, what's the meaning of life?
Yeah, for sure. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mark. You have a great day. Mm-hmm. All right. Have a good day, guys. Bye.
See you.